All right, now to the southern border. Joining us to discuss is retired Texas Department of Public Safety Captain Jason Jones. Jason, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. It's good to be with you guys this morning.
Nice to have you. Now, the GOP tweeted out that the president has not answered a question about the border since September 21st, and also asking, where are the border apprehension numbers for September? Now, typically, Jason, we know those come out in the middle of the month. It's odd that they have not come out yet. What are you estimating as preliminary numbers for September?
Yeah, preliminary numbers right now are going to be around 200,000, maybe a little less, a little more. Part of the reason it's so late is because it's the final month for the fiscal year. So the men and women of CBP are trying to really look at the numbers and all of the data. You got to remember, we're looking at about 1.7 million apprehensions for the fiscal year. So there's a lot of data they've got to review. That's part of it. The other part of this, I think, that's taken so long is because they're trying to get a new commissioner. He was just going through the hearings the last few days, and I don't think they wanted those numbers out just yet.
Convenient timing. All right, Jason, you sent us some exclusive video from the border. I want to make sure we're showing that now. Can you explain what is it that we're looking at?
Yeah, there's been a lot of gun battles between Cartel de Golfo and Cartel del Noreste. You know, last week we talked about National Guard being fired upon from Cartel de Golfo down there. We actually broke that story last Thursday in Roma. And those gun battles have just continued to play out in that small community. And here's why it's important, because if you're sitting in New York, or you're sitting in Philadelphia, and you're saying, why do gun battles on the border matter? Well, the reason they matter, ladies and gentlemen, is because when these cartels battle, all of that gets past law enforcement, moving product into the U.S., meaning people, human smuggling, human trafficking, drug trafficking, all that's coming into this country that we're feeling that pressure wave of. These cartels are the common denominator. You know, they're the ones responsible for all of this. So once it gets past law enforcement at the border, it's coming to a town near you. So, you know, right now, the flights across this country are being seen, you know, where unaccompanied alien children are being dropped off throughout this country. And that's just another part of this absolutely destructive policies of the Biden administration that we're seeing. Because make no doubt, this is impacting every American. And what I've been trying to do is go to that border and show it to the American people, illuminate it, not just talk about it. Because if you see it, you finally believe what's really happening down there.
It's easy to separate yourself from this story when you're not on the ground, like you're pointing out. Talking about those flights a bit, of course, in the news all week is the New York Post was releasing images that there were middle-of-the-night flights filled with immigrants coming over into the New York area, again, around 2:30 in the morning. When the White House was asked about it, White House press secretary said that's not the middle of the night. Those are early flights. Is that besides the point? Why is this happening, going under the radar, if you will?
Yeah, like everything else, you know, that's the problem with how this administration is operating. Everything is in the secret. We're not being upfront and transparent with the American people about the impacts of this unsecure border. And this is where I've been so frustrated, because we have never seen 151 countries in one fiscal year being apprehended by people from all over the world coming here now. Second, we've never seen this level of fentanyl flowing into this country. And then the cartels adjusting from human smuggling into human trafficking. And then now our government pushing these people throughout the country. And I think that what's really happening here is that the American people are feeling it. Doesn't matter what part of the country you're in now. You're feeling it in the overdose death data that's hitting us. I mean, families are being impacted by that. You're seeing it in the human trafficking and human smuggling that's happening across this country. So when they see these flights happening, they say to themselves, hang on, this is one more thing impacting us. But again, I'll go back to, it is all linked to this unsecured border, and it's all linked to the Mexican cartels.
Now, Jason, former Border Patrol Chief under the Trump administration, Rodney Scott, did appear on Capitol Hill to discuss the current crisis at the border. Let's take a quick listen to that.
The border is not secure, and the border is clearly less secure today than it was in January of 2021. Further, I want to highlight that in my professional assessment, the reason the border is less secure is directly related to policy decisions that are being made.
Jason, what do you make of those comments? Kind of reiterating what you were just saying as well.
He's absolutely right. And let me give you some numbers here that prove it. This is preliminary data on the gotaways. Now, if you're not familiar with what gotaway numbers are what CBP, the men and women who are holding the line down there, they look, and when they see someone get away, they count that as a stat. If there's a sensor that picks that up, or they see ground traffic where people are, in foot traffic, they count that as well. Last month, 44,379 gotaways. Last week alone, according to CBP data, 10,666. So when you talk about how our border is not secure, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be very clear. Even though the apprehensions are very high, averaging around 200,000 a month, and we're going to have for the fiscal year 1.7 million apprehensions, you also have to remember there are those that are known to have gotten into the country, and then there are those that are unknown. So where I'm going with this is that the numbers are much larger, and he is absolutely right when he is trying to warn that the immigration layer is one important thing. But we cannot forget all of the other issues affecting this country, like I've been trying to warn about for the last 6 months, because I got to tell you, as someone who has worked that border and been stationed in El Paso, Brownsville, Laredo during my career, I've never seen it like this, guys. I've never seen it. And so, this term that, every community now in this country is truly a border community, it's absolutely true.
All right, Jason Jones, all the time we have for this morning. Thank you, as always, for sharing your data with us.
Thanks for being with you.
All right, stick with us right here on Wake Up America. We'll be right back.